guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite cars, the E46 M3. I love this car so much, I've owned two of them, and right now may actually be a buying opportunity. All right guys, thanks for watching the channel. As you know, we have over 1,000 car reviews, everything from E46 M3s to other manual transmission sports cars and exotics, Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. Thanks for your support all these years. Sorry I didn't post a video on Friday. The weather's been terrible here in the Northeast and northern New Jersey, and it's very hard to film unless it's sunny out. And now you know why all the real YouTubers moved to Southern California. But anyway, I digress. So the E46 M3, again, one of my favorite cars. I've owned two of them. This is the last one I owned, a 2003 Mystic Blue E46 M3 with manual transmission and a black interior. Prior to that, I also had another 2003 Laguna Seca Blue, black interior, 6-speed coupe, sunroof delete, which was they call a slick top. That was my dream car. Unfortunately, that car got stolen. I replaced it with the Mystic Blue, but this car does have a sunroof. But anyway, prices, as you know, have been crazy post-pandemic. Prices have gone up 20, 30%, maybe even 50% for desirable cars like the E46 M3. But I'm going to give you a couple reasons why now may be a good buying opportunity. So first, let's get into the background of the car, why it's so special, and then at the end I'll tell you why it's a car that you should put on your radar right now. Remember, if you like these videos, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like E46 M3s. Hit the notification bell because I post a couple videos every week and you're going to want to know when I post them, typically Mondays and Fridays at 7 a.m. We have over 1,000 car reviews on the channel, exotics and manual transmission sports cars. All right, so here in the United States, the E46 M3 was sold at model year 2001 to model year 2006. There's kind of an 01 to 03 and then an 03.5 to 06, and we'll get into that later in the video. Now may be a very good opportunity to buy. Now, what makes this car so special? Well, first of all, that S54 engine. It's an inline six that revs to over 8,000 RPM. And these are in the days when most cars, unless you own a Porsche Turbo, were naturally aspirated. So my favorite cars are the E46 M3, or any of the cars I've owned multiple copies, which are multiple S2000s, three of them, two E46 M3s, two NSXs. What do they all have in common? High revving engines. And to me, high revving engines, rear wheel drive, manual transmissions. And this E46 M3 is no exception. This engine, the S54 engine, I've had actually 3 times, two E46 M3s, and I had a Z3M coupe with it. And it's probably, honestly, my favorite engine ever. What makes it so special is the high revving nature of the engine. The car just keeps pulling and pulling, and I think it sounds glorious too. Now, with exhaust systems or stock, this car does sound a little bit of a chainsaw. I did have an aftermarket exhaust on this car, which I think made it sound a lot better. So there are different exhaust options if you don't like that whiny, I guess, tinny noise. Comment below if you've put any exhaust on your E46 M3. Now, there's 2 wheels from the factory, 18 inches like I had on my first Laguna Seca Blue one, and these 19 inches here on this Mystic Blue one. 18 inches are probably better for performance, acceleration, also for, it'll be a lot cheaper replacing your car with 18-inch tires on it than 19s, but I just think the 19s look better. But if I was buying, I would go on condition and maintenance. I really wouldn't care which wheels it has. Now, if you buy a car with aftermarket wheels, keep in mind these were cheap cars for a long time. So these were $10,000 and $15,000 cars for many years. People a lot of times got rid of the wheels. Sometimes they sold the wheels to get their own aftermarket wheels. Sometimes the aftermarket wheels are good, sometimes they're not. But for resale value, you always want to get OEM wheels. I didn't have OEM wheels on my Z3M coupe, and when I sold it, it was difficult to get full value for that car. Also, just for example, the E46 M3, I think it's going to, overall, long term, like a good stock, it's going to keep going up in value. You want those OEM wheels. That's how you're going to separate yourself 10 years from now or maybe 20 years from now when you sell the car. I can tell you, when I first started buying NSXs, OEM wheels were about $1,000. Now, OEM wheels on my 2005 NSX, a set of 4 is probably $10,000. I wouldn't be surprised if they're $15,000 and probably approaching $20,000. That's how hard it is. Now, they made a lot of these cars that there's still wheels out there, so if you buy a car without wheels, make sure you get wheels for the car. Even get both, 18 and 19, and if something happens to a wheel, you always have another OEM set, say if you want to do a summer and winter set. But don't drive this car in the salt and get it rusty. Another thing you want to look out for, obviously, is rust. These cars were cheap for a long time. They were probably outside. They were probably in multiple accidents because people use them as daily drivers. People race them at the track. If a car from the factory is usually good for rust. Where I think you see rust problems is cars have been in accidents and been repaired. Obviously, a lot of times body shops don't get much money from the insurance companies, so they have to make those repairs cheaper than you would probably want them to be, and that's kind of more where you see the rust. But I think the biggest thing for the E46 M3 is I think maybe the E30 M3 also are the best looking M3s. I think it looks 1,000% better. And I've owned an E90 M3, but I think this is the best looking car by far. I think it's got the best engine BMW ever made. I think it looks good with both the 18-inch and 19-inch wheels. Now the performance is about 5 seconds to 60. You'll see a couple reviews maybe where it's 4.9, but that's probably as fast as it's going to go. The E92 M3s are definitely faster and you get the sound of that V8 sounds better, but I don't think it looks as nice. And I just think, not that that car is big, the E92, but I think this car is, of course, the perfect size. It's essentially the same size as the M2. They're both about 175, 176 inches long. So it'll easily fit in your garage or your driveway or parking it. So there should be no issues there. It's just, the newer cars are just bigger, wider, certainly faster, but they're so heavier. These cars, still have a decent weight. I think they're in the 3,300 pound. Obviously, the convertible's more. Obviously the E92s gain some weight, gain some sound deadening, gain some safety systems. I think this car looks amazing from the front and the back, the side. I don't think there's a bad angle for this car. Plenty of aftermarket. If you wanted to do suspensions or exhaust or anything to the car, there's a big support community. And there's plenty of good independent mechanics that can maintain this car. So when you buy these cars, there's plenty of good aftermarket mechanics that can maintain these cars. So when you buy these cars, again, because they made model year 21 to model year 26. I'm filming this video in January of 2023. The cars are 22, 23 years old going on, and they're going to need, stuff that old car needs. So it's not necessarily unreliable BMW. And there is some unreliable BMW in these cars, but, you're just going to have to replace things like shock struts, engine mounts. Tires are usually old. When these cars come up for sale, a lot of people, almost every seller I've ever dealt with, and even some car salesmen, don't realize that you should replace your tires after 5 years. Tires dry rot, and they usually dry rot from the inside out. So when you see it from the outside, it's already too late. You have to do something before it dry rots. Sellers will always tell me, I only driven the car 2,000 miles in the 10 years I had it. There's plenty of tread. Well, you still need new tires. Now, is that the seller's fault if you want to be safe and have new tires? No. Maybe if you have 10 or 15-year-old tires, remember, you're getting the benefit of new tires. You're going to have them 20,000 miles and they're brand new for you. You want to pick out your own. You don't want the seller to put on some cheap set of tires. Maybe you can knock off $500 of the price. Tires probably cost you about $1,000. Good tires. So always get the best tires. The analogy I'll use there is, I play ice hockey. I'm not playing ice hockey in dress shoes, right? So you want the proper footwear. Same thing here. You want the proper footwear. So this car is very analog. This is an era when everything was analog. There were no, except for maybe like the 84 Corvette or the S2000, there were no digital speedometers and tachometers. So it's a very analog feeling car and everything works. This is a classic for sure that will continue to appreciate. So why I think now is a good buying opportunity is interest rates are high and we're getting towards the dead of winter. So right now we don't have any snow on the ground here in January. I think we got one snowstorm so far. When February rolls around and we have multiple snowstorms and interest rates are still high and the economy is still kind of in a recession, I think you're going to have a small window of opportunity, maybe a month, a couple months, to buy one of these cars. I think we're going to reset close to 2019 pre-pandemic prices. And then what's going to happen is these cars are going to shoot up and you're not going to be able to afford one anymore. So I think there's a very small window of opportunity. If you can buy a clean car, try to buy try to buy the cleanest car you can afford. So start with no accidents, then go to one accident. But most mainly you have to look for is highly maintained. 100,000 mile car may be a lot better than a 50,000 mile car that was ignored, that needs subframe, rod bearings, and vanos. So you want to always do buy on condition, not on mileage. Now I have a ton of videos here what to look out for and all the issues. I'll do some more E46 M3 videos. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know what car you want to review next. I've reviewed over 1,000 cars. Many exotics, Porsches, BMW M cars, lots of cars with manual transmissions. Always leave a comment in every video what you want me to review. Once we get enough of those comments, I can go to a dealer and say, look, we got all these people asking for it. We can get some, and I can probably do a video of that. So I think you have thank you for your support. I think you have a very small window to get an E46 M3. Let me know what you're seeing out there in the market. Comment below and what videos you'd like to see. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.